So today we're going to be looking at the top 5, in my opinion, most underrated abilities in Smite. Now, I'm not talking about the top 5 best abilities or anything like that. These are the abilities that I think are pretty good, and people either forget about them, or they just maybe even just an ability that people forget about and they don't realize that it's actually pretty cool. To start this off, we're going to go straight to Cupid. Cupid is a character that I actually quite like. I think I've mastered him 5 times. Let's have a look here. 4 times, or is that 4 or 6? I don't know. I've mastered him a few times. I think he's a really great character. He's not picked up much at all. We did see him in the solo lane in some professional matches recently. I think he needs to be played more. I think his ultimate is one of the best abilities in the entire game. Actually, I think it's really good. You have to use beads or Aegis, otherwise you get absolutely blown up. But the ability that I'm looking at here is Share the Love. Now, you know what this ability does. This ability, he throws out 3 hearts, and you pick the hearts up, and you gain health. If someone else picks the heart up, Cupid gains mana, but obviously Cupid can pick up the hearts himself. This ability can heal 110 per heart. So that's 330 per, if you pick up all 3. Plus 25% of your physical power. So I've written down a build here. This is like sort of a standard build that I would use on Cupid. And when you factor in the scaling that comes with this, each heart will heal you for 175 per heart. So if you pick up every single heart, you are getting 525 health healing from this ability. This guy's an ADC. Yeah, he's not that great. He doesn't have a strong basic attack steroid like someone like Ram or someone like Artemis, who they have, you know, these massive boosts in attack speed. His dash does give him attack speed. It's not much. It's 20%. It's not as much as some of the other characters. But I just think this ability is overlooked, and I think it's a great ability. Underrated. This next ability, again, people will probably disagree with me on this one. The ability in itself sucks. You guess what it is? It's Agni, and it's Noxious Fumes. It's his first ability. Like I said, on its own, this ability is not very good. It sucks. It does no damage. But Noxious Fumes makes his entire kit work. Every single ability that you hit while someone is in this Noxious Fumes, they get stunned. It's a stun for each of his moves. So I just feel that this ability is so underrated. If you went up to someone and said, oh, what ability really makes their character who they are, I don't think anybody would say Noxious Fumes makes Agni who he is, and it really does. You can get these max range bombs, if you dash into someone, stun them, and then throw down 2 bombs on them, they're pretty much going to be dead, and Agni wouldn't have his lockdown potential, he wouldn't have his confirmable damage without Noxious Fumes. I think it's a great ability. I'm just going to show you my history. Look at all that red. Ew, it's gross. All of this is from playing Agni support, apart from this bottom game. And I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of losses there, you noob. But a lot of it is just mainly my team. This Artemis, 1-10. 0-7, Amir solo. 0-5, Vulcan mid. Bacchus and Erlang Sheng actually left the game in that one. 1-10 on her. 0-10, Vulcan mid. It's fun. Agni support is fun. Try it. I've got a video. I'll link it down below. Ooh, here's a good ability, an underrated ability. Let's go to Ares. Searing Flesh. Now, most people would say that maybe his chains are a better ability, and yes, maybe his chains are a better ability. You get the slow. Do you get slow? Yeah, you do. You get slow, and you get also the crippled. But like I said, we're doing underrated abilities here. I think Searing Flesh is a very, very underrated ability. If you look down at the damage isn't much at all. But this ability does damage based on max health. At max rank, this ability will do 24% of your health. Regardless, you cannot stop that fact unless you Aegis. You cannot stop that fact. It does damage based on the percentage of your health. I'm not sure if that just like goes through protections. I'll have to look that up. I won't look that up. So it turns out I did look it up. That's dedication for you. Please subscribe, please. It turns out that protections will mitigate the damage. It still does percentage-based damage, but protections will reduce the damage dealt. Before you even take into account the actual damage that the ability does, the actual tick damage, I think it's an insane ability. I think it's not used enough. I also don't think Ares is used enough. He's used in Joust a little bit, and he's used in Arena a lot, but I want to see some Ares on Conquest. Give me some Ares. I want to play some Ares. Oh, also, the fact that with Searing Flesh, Ares is immune to knockback. You cannot get knocked back as Ares while you are using your Searing Flesh. And I looked this up. A knockback is different to a knock-up. I didn't know this until recently. There are a few abilities, like Anher's Jump, which is a knockback and a knock-up. What? What defines a knockback is something that doesn't actually knock you up. And that sounds so dumb and stupid and obvious when I say it like that. For example, Vulcan's Magma Bomb. When he throws his bomb, it knocks you up, it's a knock-up, but it's also a knockback. So, wait, what? Is Ares immune to Anher Leap and Vulcan Magma Bomb? Because he's immune to knockbacks, but he's not immune to knock-ups, so I don't know. But something like a Geb rollout, you know, when Geb starts rolling, he gets bigger, and then he turns yellow, he becomes crowd control immune, and then he hits you. That's a knockback. Apollo's Dash, that's a knockback. Things like that. Oh, Anher's Impale, that's a knockback. Ares is immune to Anher Pale when he's using Searing Flesh. This ability is great. Underrated completely. The next ability we are looking at is going to be an ability from Nox. I think you can probably tell what this ability is going to be, and it's going to be Shadowstep. Holy shit, is this ability underrated? Yes. This is such good ability. It's amazing. Not only does it do 230 damage plus 70% of your scaling, FYI, this ability can hit twice. If you dash through someone and into an allied god and then burst out, it does the damage twice. I've written down a build. The build will be appearing on the screen here. I'm just looking at my iPad a minute because I've written down some numbers. That build on the screen that you're now seeing, so Shadowstep hits for 230. Remember, we times that by 2 because this ability can hit twice. 70% of our build is 552. We can times that by 2 again. We add those two together and we get the grand total of 1,564 damage. Obviously, some people are going to have protections, but that is a crazy ability. You can dash into Apollos and fly, and then the Apollo will land on someone and burst out. You can dash into a Khepri and be unkillable because, you know, he's a tank. You can dash into a Thor. Thor can ult down on someone and you can burst out. Such a great move. Such a great move. The final ability we're going to be looking at today is an ability from the Morrigan. And when you think of the Morrigan, obviously you go straight to her ultimate. You can turn into anyone that's in the match, but we're looking at underrated abilities here. And I think Dark Omen is a very underrated ability. It does not very much damage at all in the early game, but once you start to level it up, it starts doing a lot of damage, but it's the passive effect that you get with it that makes this ability so cool. So you hit someone with this ability, and they are marked. They are marked with this Omen, which means that for the next 8 seconds, if they are hit by any damaging ability, they will take an additional damage. And you can see the numbers down here. It's quite a lot of damage. Imagine you get hit by the Dark Omen and then Ra snipes you. Or you get hit by this ability and Loki ults you. Loki. You get hit by this ability and Thor dunks on you. You know what I mean? This ability is so crazy. And of course, also, it sets up well with her ability, with her first ability, Deadly Aspects. That's her combo, isn't it, basically? You use your 2 and then you use your 1. That's basically it. The Morrigan is actually one of the only characters that I get Soulstone on, simply because of its passive. Gain 1 stack every time you hit an enemy or a minion. You need to get to 5 stacks. Then at 5 stacks, your abilities do more damage and you get some mana back. That's basically what it is. She has an AoE basic attack. You only need to hit 3 basic attacks for Soulstone to be fully charged. I kind of like it on Isis. It's not the best, but I really do like it on the Morrigan. Let's go through some honorable mentions. I didn't mention any ultimates. There are obviously some great ultimates in the game. Ones that maybe are a little bit overlooked. Chark's ultimate is insane. It's a huge AoE ability that silences you for 3 seconds. You have to bead this ability. If you don't bead this ability, you're a sitting duck for 3 seconds, basically. We've also got the Bellona ultimate. This ultimate is great. It does, well, damage. 500 damage. Plus 50% of your power. Like, okay, fair enough, you're not going to be gaining loads and loads of power as Bellona. You want to build a sort of bruisery, tanky maybe. 500 damage though, as a base number, that's pretty damn high. You get protections when you're in the ring. You get power. It's one of the best team fight ultimate abilities in the game, I think, personally. That's just me. That's just me. So that's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if there are any abilities that I didn't mention that you think should have been on the list. I look at all your guys' comments and I reply to pretty much every single comment. So let me know what you think. Like I said, this is my opinion, and these are abilities that I think people forget about, or abilities that people don't really consider as being game changers or really having the effect that maybe they do have on a certain character or in the game in general. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you again really soon.